Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my final individual car review for Gran Turismo 7 update 1.27. This time it's the Alfa Romeo Giulia GTAm, and in all honesty this may just be my favourite car in the entirety of Gran Turismo 7. It's absolutely fantastic, as well as being an absolute stunning looking car. If you want to buy this car yourself, it's 220,000 credits in the Alfa Romeo dealership. As you can see, it's putting out just over 500 brake horsepower. It's turbocharged and it's just coming in at just under 600 pp, which really doesn't scream a car that justifies that kind of price tag. But trust me, when you drive this thing, it's absolutely astonishing. But as always, if you've never joined me for an individual car review, this is exactly how we do it. We get the car straight from the dealer onto the Nordschleife, test it out, no mods, no tuning, and see how it does on our lap time leaderboard to see if it really is that good. Then, if it can be, we will modify it entirely, maximum upgrades on it, no individual tuning or anything like that. So again, just kind of straight modifying it to kind of keep it fair between cars and see how it does at the high speed ring over in Japan to see how it does on our modified lap time leaderboard. But with that out of the way, let's talk about the car itself. In all honesty, this may be one of my favourite additions to Gran Turismo 7 post-launch, as well as kind of one of my favourite cars in all of GT7. Not only is it, in my opinion, one of the best looking cars currently, out there. In all honesty, it's got such a stunning design. It's also one of the most extreme versions of this model of Alfa Romeo, if not the most extreme. It looks absolutely incredible, and whilst you can see there's a lot of kind of different additions to it, it looks very kind of in your face with what's kind of added on to the base model of the Giulia here. I don't think it really looks silly. It all looks like it's got a purpose, and in all honesty, that's the main thing I want to say about this car. It drives with purpose as well. Sometimes in GT7 you will just jump in a car and you will instantly click with it, and that's exactly how I felt about the Giulia here. In all honesty, I don't think I've really jumped into a car and had this much fun and been able to drive it, straight away on the edge, since probably the Porsche Cayman GT4 when we got that in one of the previous updates. Again, I was very much praising that car because it was absolutely amazing. Even from standard, it felt quick, it drove absolutely beautifully, and it's the same here with the Alfa Romeo Giulia GTAm. So let's go for the drivability and the handling first. In terms of, throwing this car around the corners, you can absolutely throw it through and it will not, throw you into the barrier. It always feels like it's kind of doing exactly what you want it to do. It never feels like once the back end out, is out, you can't catch it or anything like that. It always feels, very well planted, in all honesty. In terms of, getting this thing slowed down, for me, the brakes felt absolutely fine. And in terms of kind of getting it self-accelerating out the corners and through the corners and stuff, it felt pretty much spot on. In all honesty, I was very much surprised with kind of these kind of cars, big saloon cars or any kind of fast version of a saloon or whatever you want to call them. I'm always very kind of wary about them. I feel like they're going to be a little bit barge-like, but I was massively impressed with just how light this thing is. In all honesty, for such a big bulky car, it's insanely light. You're easily able to just throw it through the corners with full confidence and know that you're going to come out the other end, absolutely unscathed. You'll be absolutely fine with this thing. In terms of performance, it's very, very quick. For what this car is, I felt like the acceleration was absolutely perfect coming out of corners, going on to a very decent top speed. I believe I was hitting nearly 170, 180 miles an hour down the big straight here at the Nordschleife. So I really cannot complain from a performance standpoint. A car with 4 doors and a big kit on it, it really does all do its job. In my opinion, this is one of the best overall cars in the entirety of GT7. It is such a solid package and I have nothing bad to say about it. I honestly cannot find a downside for this car, no matter what. I'm always very kind of critical of cars. I'll usually get the negative bits out of the way straight away. And in all honesty, I just could not find one for the Alfa Romeo here. In all honesty, this is the best car from this update without question, if not one of the best cars we've ever had in GT7, if not maybe the best kind of post-launch car we have. It's kind of rivaled maybe by a couple of cars for certain reasons, but I think as a overall car that's kind of, you know, a car made for everybody, where anyone can probably jump in and feel, you know, insanely confident with their driving ability, this thing is unmatched, even compared to the likes of, like I said, the Porsche Cayman GT4, which was another car that I felt was just instantly, you know, you're able to click with. It's very easy to drive, it sounds beautiful, it looks beautiful, and that's another talking point, the sound of this thing. Have a listen to this. In my opinion, that engine note is absolutely incredible. It's such a throaty grunt and growl. I absolutely love cars that sound this way. Aggressive, but not too over the top. And in all honesty, you know, you're getting that sound out of what's essentially a, you know, what was probably a family car before. Obviously, they turned it into what is the GTAm. Obviously, it is a fully stripped out, pretty much kind of, I guess, race car for the road sort of deal. It's, you know, absolutely insane. One thing you will notice from standard, you may have kind of spotted it through the rear window if you look closely enough. Yes, this has a roll cage fitted in. It does not have back seats. It has two very much, you know, full-blown race-ready seats. No back seats, although it kind of retains its four-door, you know, look, which I just think is absolutely insane. And for me, this is only something that the likes of Alfa Romeo could really do. I feel like Alfa Romeo themselves are such a kind of, you know, underappreciated brand, but very much loved at the same time. It's very kind of strange. I feel like they're kind of in line with Lotus for being one of those manufacturers that might not be always the kind of main talking point, but when anybody does, they absolutely love that brand. And like I said, for me, Alfa Romeo and Lotus are kind of the two sort of brands where people may kind of forget about them sometimes, but then when they are brought up, like, people just seem to absolutely love what they bring. And in my opinion, whilst Alfa Romeos do have that kind of, you know, I guess thing about being really unreliable and, you know, all this stuff, but if you do get them working, they're some of the best cars you can ever own. I honestly feel like, you know, that kind of thought and mindset just kind of makes Alfa Romeo very much a special car brand, in all honesty. I'd absolutely love to get my hands on an Alfa Romeo. Sadly, you know, these modern ones, yeah, they're quite a little bit out of my price range. It is what it is. But yeah, awesome brand, awesome car, and I am just so happy to see this thing in. I was disappointed in the last update when we got the M2 instead of the Alfa Romeo. Very kind of sort of what looked like the Alfa. Obviously, I've gone on to really enjoy the M2, but this thing is just absolutely next level. You know, the hype around this car, people, you know, as soon as the data mine list was kind of there, everybody was ready for this car and wanting it, and it's just not disappointed, which is one of the best things to say about it. So here's my individual sector times. We did it overall in a 7 minutes 32.802. So I feel like this one's going to be interesting to see really where it, you know, ends up on our lap time leaderboard. So we'll go over there now, and this one falls in again the 600 pp category with the likes of the Corvette C8 Stingray, and as you can see down there in 17th, the other car that I kind of compare it to for being almost perfect is the Porsche Cayman GT416. So you can see it's beat the Suzuki VGT, it's beat the C8 by quite a bit. It's just a little bit slower, I say a little bit, you know, a good few seconds slower than the 911 GT3 RS. That's the 991 model. So very impressive time overall for something with four doors. So here we have it. This is my modified version, and I've gone for sort of a full kind of touring car, race car look. for this thing, and I feel like it very much suits it. As you can tell, it's took inspiration from the 155, which is also in this game, and in my opinion one of the most legendary cars that we currently have within GT7. So I thought I'd kind of do the GTAm some justice and kind of, you know, get it along those same lines and get it set up in a very similar way. So let's go ahead and have a look at our modified lap and see if this thing really does kind of keep up that perfect appeal. And I'm happy to say, yes, with upgrades, this thing is just as good, if not even better. It's an absolutely incredible machine. It's so stable, it's so fast. I do not have a bad word to say about it. So finally, we have a car that kind of not only is good in its stock form, it's also very, very good and very, very usable, even when fully upgraded. And remember, this has no tuning done to it, so I can't necessarily make it to my liking, and all of a sudden I've jumped in and it still retains that kind of perfect feel to it, the absolute speed, the acceleration, but then it's turned up even more, and I really cannot fault this car. Although you kind of saw the back end go out there, it's almost like it just doesn't want to kind of fully break traction. Again, it has that sort of twitch of the rear, but you're always fully under control, and that's what I absolutely love about this car, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. You know, whoever designed this car at Alfa Romeo, props to you, because this is one of the best looking cars, you know, currently out there, in all honesty. Such a stunning looking car. So there we go, we're going to complete the lap. Absolute beautiful driven perfection. Oh, I really honestly love this car. I'm so happy to see it, and I'm so glad it just didn't disappoint. So let's go and have a look next up at the interior, because I feel like this deserves a few kind of, I guess, notes to make. So as you can see, whilst it looks very kind of sporty and very modern, one thing you will actually notice if you've been looking in that rear is the fact that it's stripped out, roll cage, the works, whilst kind of maintaining this civilized modern look up front. I think it's absolutely incredible. I really do like the small details, like the GTAm sort of on the right hand side, and the Italian flag as well, and the, you know, limited edition one, so the 000 out of 500 and such. Really, really, you know, detailed, beautiful interior with this car. So here's my individual sector times. As you can see, we did it overall in a 1:03 3.782. So let's go ahead and see where this one ends up on our modified lap time leaderboard, because I feel like this one's going to be very competitive from now on. Here we go. We have the Bugatti in first, and the Alfa Romeo just comes ahead of the C8 Stingray, which I already said was a very good modified car, by almost, you know, a second and a half. That's incredible and very impressive. Just the stability helping it through the corners compared to the Corvette. And overall, that's three of the new cars on that lap time leaderboard. I believe all of them that we've tested have pretty much ended up on there, with the Ferrari being ineligible and the Celica being in the rally leaderboard that I started. So there we go, 3 out of 3, all top in the list. That is my update 1.27 individual car reviews done, and I've ended it with probably my favorite car in this game. Absolutely incredible. So happy to see it. I cannot say a bad word about this. Let me know what you think of the car. I've not really heard a bad thing yet, but there's probably going to be a few out there that don't like it. But in my opinion, this thing is automotive perfection and one of the best cars in GT7. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn those notifications on so you don't miss an upload from me. Down in the description will be my Discord, my Twitter, donation links if you want to help out the channel. Yeah, thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and all that stuff yet again. Take care, guys. Peace.